So Netflix's live-action Avatar has a major problem staring audiences right in the face, literally all this time, and it's completely changing how viewers will perceive the entire show. The Season 2 first look image and trailer dropped recently, and fans immediately noticed something that's creating a massive disconnect between what the original story was telling us and what we're actually seeing on screen in this live-action remake. I'm going to break down exactly why this matters so much for the show's core narrative and what it means for the future of this adaptation. So be sure to subscribe for more Avatar content, and let's get right into it. So here's the fundamental issue. The original animated Avatar story operates on an incredibly tight timeline. From the moment Aang breaks out of that iceberg to the final showdown with Fire Lord Ozai, roughly 9 to 10 months have passed. That's it. The entire war-ending journey happens in less than a year. Aang starts as this 12-year-old kid with a round face, high voice, and that playful, almost weightless energy. By the finale, he's gained some height, grown his hair out, and carries way more responsibility on his shoulders, but he's still fundamentally a kid. The growth happens emotionally and spiritually first, with the physical changes coming second. As his body ages slightly, it's gradual, it's believable, and it works. The live action version, on the other hand, unfortunately doesn't have that luxury though. Season 2 is arriving 2 full years after Season 1 premiered, and the young actor playing Aang has done what the real human children inevitably do. He's grown up. There's no CGI slider to dial him back to 12 years old. In these new Season 2 clips and the poster, that difference hits you instantly. The face is longer, the jawline is so defined that his fans are literally joking it could punch through a hull of a Fire Nation battleship. His entire aura and looks are closer to late teen than early tween, and that creates this huge clash with what the story is supposedly showing us. On paper, this is still the same boy who was just learning waterbending a short time ago. On screen, it looks like he's had several unseen years to train, mature, and get older entirely off camera. That gap is exactly why the online reaction has been so explosive and meme heavy. The jokes practically write themselves here, guys. People are saying that Aang went from having to defeat the Fire Lord to worrying about student loans overnight. Others are imagining he secretly enrolled in the Fire Nation University, graduated with honors, and then rejoined Team Avatar like nothing ever happened during a time skip. Something from an anime. Some users are calling him the Boomer Aang and the Giga Chang because that easy, round-faced kid from Season 1 has been replaced by someone who looks ready to file taxes. Underneath all the memes though, there is a legitimate point of concern. Viewers aren't just noticing a small aging, they're noticing a visual transformation that suggests the entire premise of a one-year race to save the world has been quietly rewritten. This hits especially hard because that animated timeline is baked into the stakes. The looming deadline of Sozin's Comet is the whole reason Aang has to move so fast in the first place. He's meant to master water, earth, and fire in a time frame that would normally take most avatars years to accomplish. Multiple fans have pointed out that the original story runs from late winter or early spring straight through to late summer. That short, relentless stretch fuels every single decision the characters make. When your live-action lead suddenly looks like several years have passed, that narrative tension starts to completely lose ground. Either the comet date has been pushed back super far, or the comet will work differently than in the animated series. Or the visuals in the timeline are just going to feel off. That's a possibility as well. The worry isn't just about the age itself, it's about what that age implies for the storytelling. Viewers are already predicting that Season 2 will open with some line like, "Aang, you've come so far, you've nearly mastered waterbending," even though most of that progress has happened completely off screen and it didn't happen at all in Season 1. There are genuine concerns that earthbending will get the same treatment, with massive chunks of training compressed into a few montage scenes because the cast simply looks too old to spend another full season stumbling through the basics of a bending form. When your avatar suddenly looks like he's skipped several grades in school, every narrative skip or arc summary in the writing is going to stand out way more. It stops feeling like this dire coming of age story and starts feeling like a highlight reel of a journey that actually happens somewhere else entirely. This isn't exclusively an Avatar problem either. Other Netflix series have already collided with this exact issue when dealing with long gaps between seasons and rapidly aging child actors. Stranger Things is the obvious comparison, where the kids on screen aged about a decade while the story only moved forward a few years. Fans in these discussions are literally calling child actors a ticking time bomb for shows that rely on tight timelines. Netflix's production model of these huge, expensive, effects-heavy seasons that take years to produce fundamentally doesn't line up with the stories that are supposed to unfold over mere months with child actors. And Avatar might be the deadliest collision of these two things that we've ever seen so far, specifically because its main character is canonically locked at a fixed age during an extremely narrow window of time. But to be fair, there is one detail that softens the impact slightly. Season 2 and Season 3 were filmed back to back, so this dramatic visual jump between Seasons 1 and Season 2 should be the biggest gap that we'll ever see. Maybe they'll try and tidy it up with some flashback sequences that they recorded during Season 1, but in any case, it's going to be a bit jarring to walk into Season 2 and see Aang look so different, especially when the other cast members look largely the same as they always have. Things are unlikely to swing this drastically again for Season 3, so that's very good to hear, and I think that will soften the blow quite a bit. So personally, I don't think it's going to be that big of an issue, but I think the viewers are going to be fighting their subconscious when they see Aang for the first time, saying, wait, is this the same guy as Season 1? But I think we'll get over that fast, and I think it's going to be, hopefully if the writing is better, a good Season 2. Thanks so much for watching, guys. If you enjoyed the video, hit that like and subscribe button, and drop a thank Mr. Aang in the comments down below. I'll see you in the next one.